Hi guys, so today we're going to be doing a look inside English 5 Writing and Grammar from BJU Press. This is their newest version. They do not give us table of contents in the student workbook, so it starts right in from sentences, but they do give a table of contents in the teacher's guide. But just to show you, there are a total of 180 lessons. It shows the lessons on the bottom. And there are 14 chapters. And again, this is a writing and grammar together. So first they are going to start off with sentences. This is chapter 1. This chapter was just like an overview of kind of a review, I guess you could say, nouns and verbs, prepositions, prepositional phrases, subjects and predicates, sentences and fragments, types of sentences, imperative, compound sentences. So you can get an idea using commas. They will always have a practice at the end of the chapter. Then they'll always have a chapter review. And then this is just chapter 1, so they're not going to have a cumulative review, but they will, at the end of going forward, they're going to have a cumulative review. Then at the end of each chapter, each grammar chapter, there's a journal section. Now, I don't make my student do this, my 5th grader do this, but you know, it's up to your discretion. So write about a time when your perception turned out to be wrong. Use complete sentences. So this is good extra writing practice. She just uses something different for some extra writing practice. She uses Night Zookeeper, so I don't really have her do this, but it's definitely good practice to have. Chapter 2, we have writing a Diamante and a sense poem. It's been a while, so I had to read that for a second. Okay, so this is, it's not just writing. They will incorporate other skills into it. So using a thesaurus and why you would use a thesaurus. And then she had to write a Diamante poem. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's basically a poem that is in the shape of a diamond. It was pretty cool to do this. So the writing chapters are really good through BJU Press. I really like how they're written out. It always explains what it is. It always gives a mentor text for you to refer back to, and really good examples so that you can really refer back to it. It spells it out nicely. It gives like a good definition for what they are. And then you can practice it on your own. Then the next lesson, so you can see that was lesson, where is it? Lesson 17. Lesson 18 will be planning and drafting. So it will spells it out. It doesn't just say, okay, here, do it on your own. Okay, the baby got into this, I think. I have a 1.5-year-old, and so apparently she got a pencil. And that's how it goes when you homeschool. And it also gives a drafting guide. So your checklist. So line 1, did it have 1 noun? Line 2, so you can go through and check to make sure that you're really doing it right, so you're not having to redo it. Then the next lesson, revise and proofread. Now, I will say for these lessons, for these writing chapters, not for the grammar so much, but definitely for the writing, we can combine a couple lessons into one. Remember, BJU Press is written for a classroom setting, so they definitely have a lot more practice. They have you working together in groups. They have a lot more just filler. But working one-on-one, my daughter gets it right away. Both of my daughters usually get it right away. So we don't have to spend a whole lot of time. So we can get a couple lessons done in one day. And I'm not sitting here for an hour making her do this or anything. Like it happens pretty quickly. And then this was sense poems. So using your senses to help you write your poem. So what does it look like, smell like, sound like, taste like, feel like? Okay. I love the graphics in this one. It's really cute. It's all different types of graphics. Plan and draft your sense poem. Use like a word web of sorts. Then they have revise and proofread. And then they have a reflection. So what did you think about what you wrote? And then a cumulative review. This was at the beginning of the year when she was a little bit, when you have like the summertime slide. So she was like forgetting her grammar rules. So we had quite a bit to work on. This is not reflective of like BJU at all, I don't think. This was just like, we were a little bit rusty on things. Okay, so now we're on chapter 3, which is nouns. And again, the illustrations here are really cute. They're just a little bit different. And it's not all the same thing. So This is the types of nouns. This is what I wanted to show you. So this is called After School Help. You do this QR code and it links to like a 3 to 4 minute little video, and it'll show you what the nouns are. It'll, like, the lady is teaching, and it will kind of go through and give examples. So if you're struggling, or your student's struggling and you're not quite sure how to explain it, I mean, nouns are pretty simplistic, but sometimes like someone else can just explain it a little bit differently, or it just takes that one person who's different to kind of make things click. So we have used that. We don't use it all the time, but we have used that in the past, a couple, like, throughout the year, and she has done well with it. And so it is in most of the lessons. So here's just a good idea about what you will be going through, and it builds on each other. So nouns, pretty simple, using commas. And again, you're at the end of the chapter, so you're going to practice. You are going to do the chapter 3 review. And what I do is to make it go, since there's 180 lessons, I want to just make sure, in case there's sick days or days we don't get to grammar, I have her do the chapter 3 review, and then I have her do the cumulative review all at once, and I count that as kind of like a test. So that way, and then I don't make her do the journal. If she wants to, she can, but she doesn't have to. And so that's just kind of how we do it. So this gives you a really good idea. We have verbs here. It kind of explains everything. There is a teacher. I'm just going to go through this and talk so you can get an idea. If you want to like pause the video or slow it down or whatever, that's fine. But I'm just going to talk while I'm going to flip through while I talk. Here's writing a book review. She really liked doing this. It's a persuasive writing. So it was more than just a book report. It was writing of like why you think people should read this book. And again, it's going to have characters, setting, plot. Think about it. Book review. Here's the plan. Here's the intro, the main events. I love how this is set up. It's really transformed my 2 daughters. They used to hate writing, and I've talked about this before, but they love it now. And one of the reasons is just how BJU Press sets up their writing program. And then, so they gave their introduction, what theirs looks like, okay? And then on the back, she had to do her outline. And once she has the outline, then the draft comes pretty quick. So she does the draft. All right, she has to have, now remember, does your draft have this, this, this? It's a little checklist that she can use and a conclusion. And they give you an example of like what a 5th grader's draft should look like. And hey, use transitional words. Some sentences can be combined. So with editing examples too. I love their book. Their writing instruction. It's great. So then here's what it is. About 1.5 pages is what they're expecting of a 5th grader. Here's a revising checklist. Okay, so I have her go through and do that. Did she do all of this? Then the proofread, and I do the revising and the proofreading in one lesson. Instead of making it 2 lessons, I make it so she only does 1 draft. So that cuts down on the number of lessons that you're doing. And then presenting your book review. So she does 1 for rough draft, 1 final draft, and then she can say it out loud if she wants to. And so that's that. And then you'll have another cumulative review. So now we're on to adjectives and adverbs. I'll just kind of go through and you can get an idea. And we're about halfway through the school year, so pretty soon the pages will be blank. Actually, they're blank now. She's going to do a compare contrast essay. Writing a persuasive letter. So it alternates, you can see, between grammar and writing. So while they're focusing on grammar, they're not focusing on writing, and vice versa. And she really likes that. Writing a personal narrative. Using the library, parts of the book. Towards the end, it's a little bit random. Dictionaries, more about dictionaries. I mean, these are good skills to have, and I'm going to have her use them. They're just, I don't know. Oh, I was going to say, I don't know if they have computer. Okay, internet research, good. I honestly haven't looked quite at the end of this, so that's good. Taking notes, outlining, taking notes on a note card. So that looks like that's going to be the last grammar section. And then this one is writing a research report. So they're ending the year with you writing a research report. That's so much fun. I'm being very sarcastic. I think I might switch this with one of them just because the end of the year, like the last thing you really want to be doing is writing a big research report. I feel like that's probably better closer towards like the spring. So maybe I'll switch that around with another one, but I don't know. I'll talk to her and see how she's feeling about it. All right, and then the handbook, there's a thesaurus, there's charts that gives verbs, prepositions, that type of thing. So there's a thesaurus that you can use for different ones. They have, obviously it's not super comprehensive or anything like that. Here's your prepositions. If you want, you can make up like a copy of this and have that so that they can have it. Here's your list of helping verbs, being verbs. Remember to capitalize proper nouns. Here's your state abbreviations, different abbreviations, prefixes, suffixes, so you get an idea, homophones. Now, the only thing I don't have of this, and I haven't needed it so far, I had it last year. I don't have the teacher guide for this. I just haven't gotten around to getting one. I haven't needed it so far, and I think I've gone so far without it. I'm not going to get it. I just can grade it by hand. But if you're wanting for ease of use, like I totally recommend it. Like I said, I had it last year for her for 4th grade. And my 6th grader I did, and then for my 7th grader now this year I have it for her. I just haven't gotten it. What the teacher guide is going to look like is it's going to have these exact pages, only they're going to be a little bit smaller, and then there's just going to be some filler on the side and on the bottom, and it's just going to kind of do a little explanation. The teacher guide is good, totally not necessary, but I'm hesitant to say that because some people are like, I really love the teacher guide and I really use it. I think it's up to your discretion and how confident you feel in teaching English and grammar. I will say that at this point, I don't need it, and I probably didn't need it last year for the level 4. Level 7, it's just easier to have it, so I do have it for level 7. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And if you thought this video was helpful, you can give it a thumbs up. I would really, really appreciate that. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon, guys.